Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I am Stella from the University of Bristol Career Service, and I am the International Careers Support Officer. And today I will be presenting you successfully navigating the Chinese job market. I originally come from China, Beijing, and I was an alumni of University of Bristol. And after working in the UK for about 5 years, I started my role at the University of Bristol. And very nice to meet you. If you can type in the chat, in the question section, which year you are at. Are you the first year? Are you the final year? That'd be great. And so I can get to know what kind of audience we have today. And Nolin, if you can let me know, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we have a mix of students, quite a few graduating this year, and we have some first years with us. We have quite a few first years actually, a couple of second years, but we're mainly looking at final years and master's students.
Sure, welcome everyone. And I assume our audience are all come from China, and if there's any students come from other parts of Asia or you're from the UK, let us know in the question. And now I'm just going to introduce what we will talk about in today's session. So we will introduce Chinese labor market, its key sector and employers, and then we will talk about the skills, attributes, and experience that Chinese employers are looking for. And we will introduce ways for you to increase your employabilities. And then we will touch base on the the recruitment process for the Chinese job market. I'm actually going to stop my webcam so that people can concentrate on my presentation. So Nolin, do we have any students come from outside of China?
Yeah, if you want to put in the questions area whereabouts you're from, and it can be from anywhere, but we do have a student who's from Taiwan, so Malaysia, we have 3 from Malaysia, fantastic. Anyone else from outside? Northeast England, so we've got, and Bristol.
Oh, nice, so, excellent.
Students in the UK.
Great. Yeah, today's session, we are mainly going to cover the job market in mainland China. So welcome, everyone.
Oh, we have one student from Manchester, which is fantastic. So you've got a really interesting mix of students from around the world.
Welcome, everyone. So we will start with the Chinese economy. So as you know, COVID-19 has a huge influence in the global economy. And we know a positive news that the GDP growth is projected at 8.2% in 2021. And China's worldwide growth contribution to the world is also increased to 26.8%. And it's more higher than the American share of the expected global output. So the positive economy situation in China means the job market will be active, and potentially there will be a lot of good opportunities for our returnees. And another thing is there are more and more Chinese students starting overseas than before, and the government's push to restructure the economy towards a higher value knowledge-based model is increasing demand for higher skilled workers. So higher skilled jobs will require more returnees. And also there are important skill gaps that local students, local talent is not filling. So what are the popular sectors due to COVID-19, e-commerce and its related industries is getting popular. So as you can imagine, work from home, cloud support, and online entertainment is getting quite popular. So this kind of IT sector is in need of people, knows technology, knows market, knows what the younger generation is thinking of. And according to 智联招聘's 2020 China Overseas Returnee Survey report, apart from IT sector in need of returnees, some sectors such as the financial market and entertainment industries rated as the highest sector for returnees going to work for. And we talked about skill gaps, and here we listed some of the sectors that's in need of talents. And I want you to spend some time to read what are the sectors. And I want you to spend some time to reflect your current major. Will that allow you to work in this kind of sector? And if not, how can you improve your skills? And as you can see from this skills gap slide, there are many digital skills and engineering skills, as well as soft skills such as business development skills, research and development skills. According to a British Council survey, Chinese domestic enterprises are looking for graduates in IT, AI, big data, biotech, medtech, and medical devices. And this kind of knowledge gaps, skill gaps, talents from these areas are not only in demand in China, but also in short supply globally. As well as talents graduate from this background, Chinese government also is promoting opportunities for PhD candidates or PhD graduates with the background from AI and blockchain and engineering background. We listed a few popular locations for returnees to go back and have a look to see if your hometown is there or if the city you want to go to is on the list. So in this list, we listed some first-tier cities. We also list some new first-tier or second-tier cities. And I would highly suggest you, before you decide which cities to go to, not only to look at the job opportunities there, but also have a look at the local welfare policies. So you can check on social media like WeChat, or have a look on website like Zhihu or Baidu to look at if any cities provide special benefit for you to set up business in that city. And some cities even have substitutions for people renting or buying houses, apartment in their city. So checking the local welfare policy is also a really good step when you research which city you want to go to. And different cities has its own strong sector. And this is also highly related with the city's development strategy. So you can check local government's website or local government's WeChat public account to look at what kind of sector is actively promoted in this city. And we also listed some popular employers with overseas returnees, and this is based on a survey done by Boss Zhipin last year. And as you can see, this top 10 overseas returnees' favorite employers, majority of them are actually Chinese domestic enterprise. And it's really good to see that our domestic enterprise are going global, and the returnees from overseas can go back and contribute to the internationalizations of these enterprises. And amongst all this list, you can see different kind of employers. We can see education companies like Xindongbang, or IT companies like Tencent, NetEase, Alibaba, Baidu. And traditional bank is also still quite popular amongst graduates from the UK. So we know a lot about what's the employment situation in China now, and what kind of qualities, attributes employers want. First, we want to show you this recruitment challenge employer feedback to a graduate survey website. Firstly, employers think when they recruit candidates, they don't have enough candidates have the desired qualification. And I know if you are already in your final year or in your second year, it will be quite difficult to change your degree, change your major. And you can think of how can you gain extra qualifications before you graduate. And the second thing employer complain about is they find candidates do not have the required soft skills. What kind of soft skills we will talk about it later. And then they will talk about lacking of hard skills. Hard skills, we mean technical skills here. And also, a lot of employers talk about they think their candidate lack of work experience. Okay, remember work experience. We are going to talk about how can you gain work experience later. Otherwise, employers will they also feedback that sometimes their employees is not satisfied with their salary, or they cannot get enough applicants. So what can you include in your application in order to attract employers' eyes? Firstly, we want you to mention your university experience. I assume today our audience are from a high-ranking UK university, and including that will make you start higher than your domestic peers. And we also want you to highlight your English language proficiencies. And if you have any international work experience, you can also highlight that. And that's what makes you different compared with your domestic peers. And previously, we mentioned that employers think their applicants don't have enough soft skills. And here we use red color highlight the soft skills employers think will be useful. Some of them, for example, global mindset and cultural sensitivities and critical thinking are something employers might expect you to have because you have independently studied abroad and lived abroad. And some of the skills, for example, independent thinking and confidence, they are highly favored by international private companies. And we quoted employers' feedback from British Council survey. Employers said when they hire for entry-level positions, we prefer those returning from abroad, preferably with some work experience. Students coming from abroad, their minds are open and energetic. They come with the ability to think and have creativities and innovative skills. These are really good. And one thing you want to really remind yourself is they like people to have some kind of work experience. And here we listed the perceptions of employers towards foreign educated graduates. Perception means they naturally think what you will have. So firstly, they believe that UK education is high quality. So they will actually really value your UK higher education experience. And they also believe you, because of the systematic education in the UK, they believe you will have stronger subject knowledge and a lot of highly valued soft skills. And also because as you know, China is going through economic or industry restructure. So a lot of companies, they actually have some kind of requirement to hire a certain percent of returnees to contribute to the company's internationalization. So returnees will become, your qualification is still very popular. And we also want you to know that some employers in China will think returnees, they will hold unrealistic salary expectations. We all know that going abroad to study can be an investment from the family. So employers also will know that. And previous graduate, when they go back to China, they will ask a much higher salary when they are in their interview. And do remember that the investment might not return in 1 year or 2, but according to other surveys, that returnees, your salary growth will be higher than people that only educated domestically. And also, unfortunately, some of the employers can experience that returnees' English language skill aren't always better than domestic peers. So that's why it's very, very important when you include in your application, you demonstrate how you have used English in your when study in the UK universities. And it's quite interesting that sometimes the employer felt like you don't go back to our home country because you go to your home country because you didn't find a job opportunity abroad. And this kind of negative feelings, sometimes candidates will share that during their interview. They will say, because I didn't find opportunities in the UK or anywhere else, that's why I have to go back to my home city. We want you to really be mindful that if you are going to apply for jobs, you'll need to position your return as a planned choice. And how can you develop skills and gain work experience? Firstly, we want to tell you that work experience doesn't usually need to be a paid role or full-time paid role. Your work experience include internship, part-time jobs, and even volunteering. And all of this kind of work experience can sharpen your employability skills, improve your English, and demonstrate your abilities to work with an international team if there's any other colleagues came from another another country. So I will highly suggest you to look at your university career service website and student union website to look for part-time jobs, internships, and volunteering. And when I say part-time jobs, I don't really mean I'm not only refer to retail part-time jobs. If you check your university career service website, you might find some opportunities such as working at a university library, or work for the faculty office, or work for a local small medium enterprise. And these are all very valuable part-time jobs that you don't need to serve a customer. And apart from gaining work experience, you can also develop your skills by checking mentoring schemes. So universities will design different types of mentoring schemes. Maybe these mentoring schemes will be one-to-one, match you with industry pioneer, or you can use some informal mentoring opportunities. For example, if you use LinkedIn, you can check alumni and find people share the same background as you to ask them if they can be your mentors. And some of the UK charities also offering mentoring schemes. So do use a bit of Google to check how can you find a mentor. And some other opportunities such as competitions or some university employability award can also demonstrate your ability of using English and your ability of work with other people. And if you cannot find anything quickly enough before this summer holiday, you can also consider finding an job opportunity in China, and continue expand your network in China, and don't lose your local connection. We choose some alumni advice, and we just will give you some time to look at them. And if you are taking notes, that's great. But also, I will send out the PDF version of this presentation. So if you didn't manage to write a lot of notes, that's fine. That's okay. We will send you the slides later. So I personally interviewed this alumni, Max Wong, and he is now working in Hong Kong. He mentioned something really interesting, that he didn't get his dream job right away after the university, but he kept looking. And meanwhile, he was doing a lot of applications, although he got his first job. He just kept improving his application skills and keep building connections and learn career tips from senior colleagues in his industry. And eventually, he find a very ideal job in Bloomberg. And he is really very helpfully now sharing his expertise on Bloomberg and also join our university's alumni events, because he wants to give back what he has learned from his connections back to our current students. He talked about how important it is to build connections, and he has his own strategies when making an online connection to become a real in-person connections. That's quite interesting. And Siming, this student, she was a PhD candidate in University of Bristol, and she secured her first job because she made a connection with a professor when she presented in an international conference. So we summarized what alumni's advice for you here. And the most important thing is to understand UK culture, and also if there's any chance, you can take additional certification. You can learn different things online. For example, you can learn coding. You can learn like soft skills like cultural adaptabilities from websites like Future Learn. And if you have any opportunities, you can also take positions of responsibilities. For example, you can become course representative. You can take a role in a student society. You can be a team leader of your group project. And use the career surveys to check different job opportunities as well as careers advice. And we also mentioned that you need to grow your network. So at Bristol, we have international mentoring scheme. As I mentioned before, your university might have the same thing. So do check it out. And also you can find some informal mentoring schemes. And we briefly mentioned how can you find alumni. Firstly, you can use LinkedIn Find Alumni tool. So you can search, for example, Bristol alumni on LinkedIn. You can also use your connections, find on WeChat if there's any alumni groups. I know some of the alumni groups is only for people have graduated, but might be good for you to at least know a few individuals. And in the future, when you're graduated, you can be added to a group. And it's very important to keep your knowledge updated. I know some of our audience today, you came to the UK or didn't come to the UK. You're starting from China, and you started your autumn semester last year. But some of you might start your first year of undergraduate in the UK. So it's very important for you to still keep up-to-date knowledge of the Chinese job market. So you can learn this kind of opportunity by looking at Chinese business bodies, and also learn from Chamber of Commerce, China Britain Business Council, and the British Council. These are the organizations helping to build relationships between China and the UK. And many companies will also advertise opportunities there on their website. I know British Council is going to organize a job fair in China soon, and you can check their website for more information. But also remember, these organizations or members of these organizations will really value your UK experience. So maybe these employers they advertise opportunities on this website can be, your qualification may be more preferable. And remember, you can subscribe to their newsletters and schedule some time on your calendar outside of your study to read business report for you to understand the local welfare and also the local job opportunities. And if you plan to go back to China in summer, or if you are already in China, then you can now attend some in-person events. So we're at our last session of where you can find job opportunities. Previously, we talked about British Council might be a good place because they do advertise jobs that require people have studying in England, in the UK experience and have good English skills. We also listed some Chinese domestic website here. Guopin is a website University of Bristol started to work with, and it is a website quite interestingly advertise a lot of state-owned enterprise opportunities. And there's some other website. And I noticed that we do have some non-Chinese student here today. You might want to find jobs mainly using English working in China. So I can recommend you to use GradLink and LinkedIn. I'm not sure if your university subscribe to Student Circus, but this website also advertise a lot of job opportunities internationally. And when to apply for jobs? There are two major recruitment seasons. One is the autumn season, and this is the most important recruitment season in China. When we say autumn season, it is because traditionally jobs opens around autumn time, but we found that online applications nowadays they open from summer. So a lot of companies, the popular companies, those internet big hat, they start their online application from July. And the tests and interviews from September. And generally, this autumn season's recruitment close at November to December. So we used a chart to show you different months, what a major event will happen. And another popular season is spring season. Spring season, the recruitment opportunities might not be as many as autumn season, but still there will be companies, if they didn't find enough talents, they will re-recruit it again. And do remember, if you miss autumn season and spring season, some employers now open at other times and year-round for overseas returnees. So do check if your career surveys host any Chinese employers presentation, and do check other website or from your connection to see if there's any other year-round opportunities for you. And I think you might be quite familiar with this, but still worth to mention the job application process. So the first thing is online application. You fill in form or email your resume or your CV to the Chinese employer. And then if it's a big company, you will be invited to do a psychometric test. And then if you pass this online test, then you will be invited to do either interview in person or online. Leaderless group discussion and role plays is very popular in China. And in UK, there's something similar in the assessment centers. So I assume your career surveys will help you with, at least prepare the mindset and know, how to work with other people in assessment center. So do check out if there's any trainings or events in your career surveys. And then some companies will invite candidate to do a technical review. So they might invite you to do coding in a limited time frame. They will ask you to solve or work out a business plan in a limited time. You know, there's a lot of job forums, you know, to help you prepare what was tested in the past year for you to prepare yourself. And so we mentioned English is important. English is not, you know, always tested during your interview, but in some multinational companies, they might require you to use English to do a short presentation. And CV resume, the advice is be concise. And we mentioned before, you definitely need to highlight your UK work experience. And remember, work experience include full-time job, internship, part-time job, and volunteering, and your English language abilities. And we mentioned here is University of Bristol, but you can, of course, mention your university's word ranking. And if your particular school or your subject have a very good word ranking, you may as well include that in your application. And it's quite different from the UK CV. In UK CV, you don't want to put your photos in your application, in your CV. But in China, it's quite popular or sometimes is requested to provide your photo. I remember one of my classmates told me when she go back to China, she applied for around 100 jobs because she was very desperate to you know, move out of her home and start her new life. And she was invited to many interviews, and she forgot who she is going to interview with. So I would suggest you to value the quality of your application rather than the quantity of your application. And no matter how busy you are, remember to tailor your CV to each role you're applying for. The role you're applying for might be similar, but the company will be different. So do have a track record, do have a record of which companies you have applied for, and remember when you have applied for them. And interview tips here is quite common. I will suggest this to everyone, no matter which country you are interviewing. The important thing of interview is you know yourself well, and also you know the company and the industry well. And you need to really, before you interview, you need to think, you need to look at the job description and use your every opportunity to understand the organization's culture, and then think and reflect your previous experience, how you have showed you meet the job requirement. And remember, at the end of the interview, employers might ask you, do you have any questions prepared for us? So you should have at least 3 questions prepared. And this is the last slide of our presentation. I just want to summarize the other important thing we mentioned before. There is a salary premium for overseas graduate, meaning that you might earn a bit higher than your domestic peers when you do your entry-level position. However, the size of the premium is declining over time. And also remember that you can be, you know, your growth might be faster than your domestic peers. So don't worry too much about your entry-level salary, and think about your opportunities to develop and grow. And another thing is, some of you might find it quite interesting that you might experience culture shock when you come to the UK to study. And some of our graduates face challenges when they go back to home country. And they might experiencing HRs don't really know their university, and they might find they don't fit into the culture they have grown up in. And they also might feel like they don't have enough local work, local networks. For example, if you study abroad from your second year of university, when you finish your 3 years or 4 years degree, when you go back to China, you might find your high school peers, they now work in a company that they internship with, and they know the team leaders, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So it's very important to maintain and grow your network while you are in the UK. I put a photo of a panda just to let you know that your UK education make you a very valuable person. And do remember to speak English and improve your English skills. And also remember, when you go back to China, how can you try to explain to the employer that the skills, the network you have learned in the UK, and how can you bring back this value to the employer back in China? I think that's it for today's presentation. I realize I have spoken a lot, and now Nolin, you might want to help me with reading out some questions, and I'm happy to answer questions. We still have 15 minutes.
No problem. Thank you for that. It was really, really insightful. And I just wanted to reiterate, actually, when you were talking about networks, even if you're looking to go to China for the first time, alumni networks are absolutely essential. So I think building global networks is key nowadays, regardless, isn't it? It's so much. I think it's so much easier now in a way, because people are embracing this online networking more now than ever. So
definitely.
So one of the questions that we were asked, first of all, was how necessary is it really to network with potential employers and alumni in order to gain employment in China? In terms of, ratio for your job search strategy, how much of your job search strategy should you dedicate to networking?
This is an interesting question. And if this is a Chinese student, you might know in China we say 关系. 关系 is very important. 关系 is actually the networking. But I would say majority of the students, they get their job, overseas returnees, they get their job through a formal job application procedure. Okay, they still need to go through online applications. But there are a good proportion of students, they attend a careers event, for example, online careers fair or in-person careers fair, and they get the opportunity to be referred. In China we call it a 内推. Okay, so they might skip the online application process, but still they will have to do the interviews, and they will have to do technical tests. So I say it is definitely important, but don't put all of your time to a network. Or I'd say don't think networking. If you have a good network, you'll definitely get your desired job. getting a job might be an outcome, but also, gaining knowledge and, gaining support in the future might be the most important outcome of your networking. Is this clear?
Yeah, makes perfect sense. No, totally agree.
Yeah.
Another student has asked about how have internship opportunities been affected in mainland China, Macau, and Hong Kong since the pandemic, and are those opportunities still there for students who may have, they may not be from mainland China, but they can work in mainland China because their family are from China or Japan and have the ability to go there. So how does the internship landscape look?
So as I mentioned before, the economic recovery in China is rapidly. And last year, in spring season, according to a partner, Luckin China, they mentioned that last year there was almost no internship opportunities, but now employers are actively recruiting interns. And I went to an event a month ago. The employer feedback, like a survey by interviewing many employers, published by Luckin, saying that many employers are recruiting double volume of the interns than last year. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities in China. But if you are asking about if there's any visa policies, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how many employers in China will, help you to do a work visa, in China for internship. But there's definitely a lot of opportunities. And I would highly suggest you to check out. There will be a job fair in China organized by British Council in Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen. And many companies will be there to recruit. So I think the job fair is next week. You can check British Council's website. And for those companies, they are recruiting graduates. And if you are not graduates, I would still suggest you to speak with the employer and see if you can give them your CV. And if they are recruiting anyone, you are the first people they are thinking of. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fantastic. There are some questions coming in around language, and I know you've touched on this before.
Sure.
There's questions about what level of proficiency is required to work in China, and would that open opportunities to you the more fluent you are?
Oh, sorry, I think there was a tech error. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, great. I think so. Yeah, English proficiencies. The English proficiency is as long as you can have conversation with people. It really depends on what kind of job you are doing. So if your job is customer facing and you need to use English on a daily basis.
I think they were asking around Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah, it also really depends on what job you will be doing. For example, I know some of our alumni, they went for the British Council, I think, like teaching in China scheme. And many alumni, they can't actually speak any Mandarin, but they will, in order to, have a more convenient life in China, they will start learning Chinese. But it really depends on what kind of job you are doing in China. For example, if you are doing, teaching English in China, then perhaps Mandarin is not required. But if you are doing, some kind of job require you to work with other Chinese people, then I say, you should have a beginner level of Chinese, because your life will be easier if you know the language. And I think employers will be you know, clear. They will make it clear on what level of Mandarin you can speak, and you can ask them.
Yeah, I think the more language skill you develop in either Mandarin, Cantonese, or English, the better your opportunities are going to be for networking,
Definitely.
branching out as well beyond those just international companies as well. So not just relying on companies that function primarily in English. It would open opportunities, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's something I would definitely encourage you to pursue if you're thinking of a career in China. As far as I know, in China, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Stella, to work for a visa, so you can do internships in China as a non-national. So you can be international and do internships. For graduate level work, I think you need to have 2 years experience, don't you, in order to qualify for a visa?
Oh, I'm not quite sure about this.
It's something that you need to look. So if you're interested in working in a country that is not your own, always research the visa options so that you're clear, because the last thing you want to do is waste 2 months applying for jobs when there are no visas there to support your application.
Definitely.
The other questions that have come in are around are companies going to value UK experience, and really what are they looking for? What kind of skills are they looking for to be highlighted by studying overseas?
What kind of skills
what are the most desired skills?
Okay, so previously we mentioned communication skills. Okay, communication skills, not that only you can speak English, but also how do you use your communication skills to provide better service, to solve problems, and also global mindset and cultural sensitivities. So it's about how you can use your knowledge of the UK to develop new strategies in your company. How can you use your knowledge of, you know, different culture to design a new product to solve a company's problem, and also your teamwork skills. Because one of the risks employer hire you, they worried is that you are not able to work with other people because you're a fresh graduate. You might not know the how to deal with other workmates. So you need to demonstrate you can work with other people. You can even work with people come from a different cultural background, speak a different mother language, and you can use a different language to work with them smoothly. And if like companies, some companies, they are looking to develop a future leader of the company. So you want to demonstrate how you can solve problems independently and how you can take your initiatives. Taking initiatives, I mean, nobody force you to do anything, but you are using your own initiatives to create something or interview someone for your dissertation, or join a student society, becoming a committee. That shows your independent plan, your independent thinking when plan your future. And some of other skills we also mentioned here, critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. These are all in demand for Chinese employers. And how you can demonstrate them, you can show them in, when you're doing a work experience, when you're doing internship, you can show that, for example, I went to visit older people, older UK people, and then by speaking with them, I thought of, like how can we improve, our service to older people in the UK, and this is what they do in the UK, and this is what we can do in our company in China. So yeah, the more opportunities you expose yourself to, the more skills you will be developing and demonstrate for your future employer. Is this okay?
That's perfect. Thank you for going into that. And I think it is really important to be able to think about articulating those skills clearly.
Definitely.
And if you're struggling, this is where, when Stella mentioned your career service, if you're struggling to articulate your skills or demonstrate your value to an employer, see the career service, because that's what we're here to help with, to help you look at how to identify your skills and explain them clearly. The other thing that I wanted to, just one moment.
Yeah.
That I wanted to ask was around opportunities for placements. Is that, are you aware of placement opportunities in China for Chinese students wanting to do a placement year back home, or for international students looking to broaden their experiences?
So for Chinese students, if they want to post a year and do a work experience year in China, I would suggest you, because it's not very common in China, like for a whole years of work experience. So I would say, like, first look at, apply for internship first and get in the company, and ask them if they can extend your internship to a whole year and make it as your work experience, or use your connections to, because companies might not offer this kind of opportunities. As far as I know, it's not very common. But if you are, outstanding and you really show your desire and there's no problem with your study, I think companies will be happy to help you. And for international, for other international students go to China, I really am not sure about it. I would suggest you to contact, if there's any faculty, your university faculty, if there's any industrial liaison office, you can contact them, because at Bristol, our faculty of engineering has a industrial liaison office, because a lot of engineering students, their course requires them to do a one-year placement, and we do have some connections in China, but it is quite rare. I very rare meet this kind of question, but I'd like to do some more research on this.
Great, thank you. No, it's not something I've heard many opportunities about, but again, we talk about students creating their own opportunities through communicating with employers as well. So there's always a possibility. The last thing we want to ask, because there's been quite a lot of inquiries about it, is this British Council job fair that you mentioned. Can you share that after the session?
Definitely. I will send it with this slide to everyone.
Great, and then you will all receive a copy of the slides and the link to the British Council job fair, because personally I don't think there are you can have too many networking opportunities or job recruitment events to go to if you're looking to gain a role, especially in this competitive market. So
definitely.
That's it for today. Thank you so much, Stella. That was a fantastic insight. And I definitely learned so much about the labour market in China and what employers are looking for. Have you any last thoughts that you'd like to share?
My last advice is to everyone, do use your career surveys, because as Noli mentioned, you need to know how to articulate your skills. Some of you might not know what articulate means. It means that you do have skills, but sometimes you don't know how to write about them. And career surveys is a great place for you to learn how you can write about skills and reflect what skills you do have. And you are very amazing. You study abroad in a young age, and you have a lot to offer. So be proud of yourself, and you have a lot to offer to, employers in the UK, back in China. So be confident and make the full use of your university time and service. And that's my advice. Thank you very much for spending your 1 hour with us today.
Thank you so much, Stella, and thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a fantastic event. It's been recorded, and you will find it on the website under the recording section. It will be available on YouTube and Bilibili. So please check out the website for the latest information and the latest recording.
Definitely.
Thanks so much, Stella.
Thank you. No worries. Have a nice day, guys.
You too. Bye.